Welcome back everyone to my low-level playthrough of Chrono Trigger on the Wii Virtual Console. Last episode we traveled back to Prehistoria to look for the Dreamstone, a red rock that the Mazmune is made out of. Aelia, the tribe chief of this group of cavemen, she has the red rock. We ended up winning the red rock from her by beating her in a soup drinking contest, but we partied a little too hard that night and ended up passing out. And when we woke up, the gate key was gone. This guy, Kino, who's basically Aelia's male equivalent, basically Aelia's mate, he stole the key because he was jealous that Aelia threw a party for us. So we confront him here to get the key back, but unfortunately the reptile stole the key from him. So we're going to have to go through 2 dungeons here to get our key back. So this one's just a tiny little dungeon. It's annoying because it's tough to see where you're going sometimes. You got the foliage that kind of covers pathways, and it's a little dark. I've actually increased the lighting by 25%, but even then it's still tough to see some of the vines you have to crawl up and out, up and down. So another thing that makes this area kind of difficult, or Prehistoria in general, is the reptiles. They tend to have really high defense. Most of the time you're not going to be fighting them because you'll be running away in a low level game, but there'll be a few fights where we have to fight reptiles, including boss fights. And the only way you can basically weaken a reptile's defense to do decent damage on them is to have Chrono shock them with his lightning attack. But in those battles that we do have to fight reptiles, we'll need Chrono alive to shock them, but then we'll need him to be knocked out before the battle ends so he doesn't gain the experience. So that's going to be the toughest part of the upcoming battle, the boss battle we have. Keeping track of the boss's hit points. I end up actually having to pause during the fight to keep things tracked down, and then get the boss to low enough hit points that Aelia can finish him off without Chrono being alive to shock him, which is more difficult than it sounds. It took me 2 tries to beat the boss, but the first time was pure dumb luck on my part. I needed basically a regular hit, and then Aelia got a critical hit and finished the boss off before the boss could finish off Chrono. So whenever I want to not get a critical hit, I don't get it. Aelia seems to have a pretty good critical hit rate, which is good, I guess, because she doesn't equip weapons, so her damage is basically based on her strength. Her fist does increase in power as you gain levels, but like it's low level, so we're not gaining a lot of levels with her. At max level, which is star, or basically 99, Aelia is the only character who can do 9,999 damage. With a critical hit, her physical attack will deal that much. So, too bad she doesn't. There's a few items that increase critical hit rate. Chrono's broken at the end of the game because he gets a sword which has a 70% crit rate. Frog will also get a decent critical rate with the Mazmune, but you have to equip an item on an accessory, the Hero's Medal. It's too bad that the Mazmune doesn't come with that innate massive crit rate. Probably balance the characters out a little bit more. Like I said, toward the end of the game. Frog and Marley, not too good, the 2 water characters. Frog has a really bad final technique. And Marley just, even though she has good magic, her strongest spell will be her Ice 2 spell for damage. She still does pretty decent damage with it, because she'll naturally, her and Luca will naturally max out their magic stat. But I'm going to have to do multiple playthroughs of this to max out Chrono and Robo's magic stat to see how powerful they're. Because Chrono has the most powerful spell in the game, Luca has the second most powerful spell. The most powerful spell is Luminaire. Flare is the second most strongest, and then the third strongest is Shock, which Robo gets. So I'll have to see what they look like with max magic. But you can basically just go down this hole that these weevils created. There's a bunch of different paths you can go to get through this little reptile layer. You let the weevils dig holes in the upper floor there, and some ones take you to different treasures. The treasures ain't all that good. They're like mid-ethers and tonics and mid-tonics. Good in a regular game, but we're trying to minimize experience here. So we want to avoid the routes that have treasure in them, because that'll give us too much experience for area. And so we just go down the hole that's provided for us, and that basically takes us on the path of least experience. Okay, unfortunately, you can't run from any of these battles where the evil weevils are. Basically, any room with a hole, you can't even run from this dinosaur here either. This is the problem I talked about earlier. These dinosaurs have massive hit points. He has like 850 hit points. We don't do a lot of damage to him, see 32. Once we hit him with lightning though, his defense goes down really a lot. And we're actually able to do decent damage to him. But we can't risk defeating him while he's shocked. Or else Chrono and Molly will get experience. So we basically have to do quite a bit of damage to it. And then watch his hit points. Normally in regular battles, we don't have to really worry about hit points for enemies. But in this case we do. We don't want to attack him there with Aelia before. We'll risk shocking him again, and then having Aelia attack, because she hits those critical hits a lot. And once he's down to about 3/4 of his health, Aelia can just finish him off. She'll take a little bit of damage, but we'll be able to heal ourselves up before the boss. There's a save point, which is really nice and generous. Too bad the save point ain't here, because there's 2 treasure chests here that are tough to get. If you touch any of these reptiles, you get into encounter. You can grab that chest there. There's a full ether behind that reptile. It's tricky to get though. You can get it without spawning an encounter, but it's so hard that I was just like, I'll skip it. Once you get the wall, that'll turn experience into money. I'll probably off-screen going through all these dungeons and getting all the equipment, the treasures that I missed. And I would have to, but like I said, the battles will give me money and tech points. It's things that Aelia, unfortunately, we get her late, but she doesn't have any skills. Her kiss spell is really good. It heals your party, it heals your character, but also removes negative status ailments. But more importantly, it would have been nice if we would have had her to get her other technique, Charm, and that steals items off of enemies. And that would be really good, because there's some good weapons that we could have got here for Chrono, Marley, Luca, and Robo. But we want to have the Rock Helm and the Meso Mail on Chrono to be able to survive this Earthquake attack that the boss is going to have. And we can just give Aelia like the worst equipment. You want to give her the worst equipment so that she has some pretty powerful equipment, so we want to cape that. Because Aelia's going to leave our party after this, and she'll come back with the equipment that we gave her. So we're just going to give her a bunch of like unnecessary equipment. Keep the best stuff for ourselves. So we'll steal her good rock vest, and I think she had a good helmet to the rock helm. Save our game. Get ready for Nizbal, the boss. The Triceratops boss. I'm going to show off 2 different dialogues here. This is Azala, the leader of the reptiles. And she has the gate key. She doesn't know what it is. We get 2 prompts here. We can tell Azala what the gate key is or refuse. Either way will get us into a battle, so if we say we're not going to tell her about the key, she's like, well, I'm going to need some motivation. And she summons Nizbal. We do tell her about the key, though. She says, you're lying. So no one will talk that easily. She still summons Nizbal, so no matter what, we're gonna have to fight this Nizbal boss. He has 4,200 hit points, and it's very important that we keep track of it. Because Aelia does about like 8 damage to him when he's not shocked. And she won't be able to fight him one-on-one. So we basically have to have Chrono shock him. And then luckily when he's shocked, we get a few turns to just beat on him. Marley is going to die on his, if he does a single attack on her, or when he does his earthquake attack, or when he does his releasing the electricity. So just keep her alive as much as possible here, deal some extra damage. I mentioned she'll be knocked out as soon as Nizbal releases electricity. He doesn't stay in the shock state forever. He releases electricity, that hurts us really, really bad. Kills everybody but Aelia. When this happens, we have to have Aelia revive Chrono. Nizbal will usually do a single attack, and then he'll do an earthquake attack. With that silver stud that gives Chrono 50% more hit points, that allows him to basically survive this earthquake attack, along with the rock helm and the mesomail. He has just enough defense to survive the earthquake attack. But while Nizbal is stunned, we're going to heal Aelia up to max. So just throw a mid-tonic on her. If she's a little short, throw another tonic on her. Another tonic. And I do a little bad thing here. I accidentally attacked Nizbal. I already had the input, the command inputted. But luckily, Aelia is strong enough to survive a shock and a single target attack by Nizbal or the earthquake. So she'll be good as long as she's basically above 200 hit points. That's usually what electricity and a single target attack will do. She has about like 350 hit points total. So she just attacks. Chrono heals. Just make sure that you're keeping track of Nizbal's hit points here. It'll take about 5 or 6 rounds of this. You do about 600 damage per shock. And then Marley helped out the first time, got a little bit extra. Got maybe about 100, 150 more. Shock him again. The good thing is Nizbal's slow and Aelia's pretty fast. So she gets, 3 or 4 attacks in while he's shocked. Like I said, that gives you about 600 critical hits. Nice. Except when he's down to 1 more hit would kill him, or 1 critical hit would kill him, and a regular attack wouldn't. And then she crits. That's what happened the first time. That's why I had the 2 dialogues there. After that first dialogue, he ended up beating me with the bad luck. We'll actually fight Nizbal again later on. One of those nice reoccurring bosses. We'll also get a few reoccurring bosses in Magus's castle. This will be the next big dungeon after this. Back at the beginning, we came here to get the Dream Stone that the Mazmune is made out of. And once you repair the Mazmune, we can give it to Frog, and that'll encourage him to go after Magus. I've learned a lot about Frog's backstory coming up. Why he has a kind of a grudge against Magus. It's more than just because Magus is the enemy of the king and Frog's a loyal knight. It's actually a personal vendetta. Dunk. So basically I think one more round should finish Nizbal off. I get really lucky, I get I get Nizbal down, finally down to 15 hit points. It's just enough, like I said, for Aerie to finish him off with like 3 hits. And he's getting pretty low there, but like I said, we just have her be the attacker. Chrono is the healer. I just paused it right there to keep track because Aerie did a bunch of damage and I didn't get to track it. Because I knew he was getting very close to the end. Chrono will get a revive spell later on. Someone told me on one of my comments that Chrono, his element is technically like in Japan. It's like heaven or light, which kind of makes sense. You normally think the 4 elements are earth, wind, fire, and ice. You got the fire and ice, Luca, and fire, Molly, ice. Chrono is lightning. We think, where's the earth elemental? But they haven't said that other elements are lightning, which is really supposed to be light, and then the other element is shadow. That's how Speculative told us, remember that Robo's lasers function shadow magic. So Chrono gets a revive spell, which I guess goes in line with the light or the heaven magic, but he's not necessarily going to be a healer ever. Marley is your big healer, at least for single target. Robo and Frog get healing spells that heal everybody. A little bit less, but they, like I said, they target everyone. Frog and Aerie have a really good dual technique, Slurp Kiss. Where Aerie puts a kiss above her head, Frog catches it and spits it on everybody. And heals and removes negative status. Really good dual healing technique. And Nizzle's gonna need some healing after that beat down. And Aerie learned her kiss. Not that it matters because Aerie will be leaving our party, which is why we gave her all that bad equipment, I guess, or worse stuff. And basically, we're going to steal her good stuff for the future. Good thing the gate key's okay, and then we'll be able to travel back and help Frog out. So yep, we're leaving now. Like I said, too bad that we can't get any of that good equipment from enemies or charming. Especially the charm equipment is basically like 2 levels higher than what we would get. The equipment that we would get like right now from trading in Historia, we can't, unfortunately, because we don't have items, but I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!